The fire within his hands gripped my thighs as he buried himself deeper inside me. My back arched, pressing against the cool glass of his office window. The city lights glowed beneath us, but all I could see was him, his strong jaw clenched, his blue eyes dark with desire. God, you're so tight, he groaned, his fingers digging into my hips as he thrust harder. I bit my lip, trying to suppress the moans threatening to escape, but I couldn't hold back. Not with the way he filled me, stretched me, made me forget who I was, made me forget that just hours ago, I kissed my husband goodbye and promised him I'd be home early. But here I was, getting ruined by my boss. His lips trailed down my neck, sucking hard, leaving marks I'd have to explain later. His tongue flicked over my nipple, sending a jolt of pleasure straight between my legs. Tell me you love this, he whispered against my skin. I love it, I panted. And I did. God help me, I did. Because for the first time in a long time, I felt alive. If you love stories like this, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, drop a comment below. Would you ever risk it all for passion like this? Let's talk. The real beginning, a wife's hidden desires. I wasn't always like this. I used to be a good wife, a faithful woman, the kind of woman who prided herself on loyalty, love, and honesty. My name is Nia Carter, a 29-year-old Black woman from Atlanta, Georgia. I've been married to Jordan for 7 years, and together we have a 4-year-old son, Caleb. Jordan is a good man, the kind of man every woman dreams of: hardworking, kind, loyal. But here's the truth no one likes to admit. Sometimes love isn't enough. I never planned to cheat. I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who sneaks around, lies, and lets another man do things to her that only her husband should. But life has a funny way of taking you places you never imagined. And it all started when I got promoted at work. Jordan and I weren't rich, but we were comfortable. He worked in construction, always coming home sweaty and exhausted, but still managing to be the best father to our son. I worked in corporate, a sleek office downtown, where my new promotion placed me directly under Daniel Whitmore, my rich, powerful, and dangerously attractive white boss. At first, he was just that, my boss. A man in perfectly tailored suits with a sharp gaze that could make anyone nervous. He was confident, dominant, and completely off limits. But the problem with limits, we always want to cross them. I started staying late at work, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. Jordan never questioned it. He trusted me. God, he trusted me so much it hurt. Daniel and I had harmless conversations at first, talks about business, late night projects, subtle touches that lingered just a little too long. Then came the compliments. You're an incredibly intelligent woman, Nia. You have the kind of presence that makes men weak. I'd laugh it off, pretend it meant nothing. But every word he spoke lit a fire inside me that I hadn't felt in years. Because while Jordan was a good man, a great father, he was predictable, safe. Daniel, he was dangerous, exciting, forbidden, and I was starting to crave him in ways I shouldn't. A wife's guilt and a growing hunger. At night, I'd lie beside Jordan, listening to his steady breathing, feeling his arm draped protectively over me. I'd close my eyes and tell myself, you love your husband, you don't need anyone else. But then my mind would betray me. I'd remember the way Daniel's eyes followed me in the office, the way his voice deepened when he said my name. And worst of all, I'd imagine what it would feel like to have him touch me. I'd slip my hand between my thighs, feeling the heat pooling there, and as wrong as it was, I'd imagine it was Daniel's fingers instead of mine. I always finished quickly, shaking, panting, guilty. And the next morning, I'd kiss Jordan goodbye, knowing damn well my heart was already drifting toward another man. A dangerous game begins. I tried to fight it. I told myself it was just an innocent crush, that I'd never actually act on it. But temptation is a funny thing. It doesn't care about your morals. And Daniel, he knew exactly what he was doing. He started inviting me into his office late at night, just the two of us. The tension between us grew thicker, the air charged with unspoken desire. One night, as I was gathering my things to leave, he stepped behind me, his breath hot against my neck. "I think about you," he murmured. I swallowed hard, my pulse racing. "You shouldn't." He chuckled low and deep. "But I do. And I know you think about me too." I could have denied it. I should have. But instead, I turned around, and for the first time, I let myself imagine what it would feel like to let go, to let him ruin me. And that's when I knew. This wasn't just a game anymore. I was about to cross a line I could never uncross. I should have walked away that night. I should have packed up my things, gone home to Jordan and Caleb, and pretended nothing happened. But I didn't. Because when Daniel leaned in, his breath warm against my skin, I didn't step back. I just stood there, heart pounding, body burning, every nerve in me screaming for something I shouldn't want. "Tell me to stop," he murmured, his lips inches from mine. I swallowed hard. "You should stop." But I didn't move. I didn't push him away. And that was the moment I knew. I was already his. Maybe not physically, not yet. But emotionally, mentally, I had already fallen, trying to hold on to my marriage. The next few days were torture. I threw myself into work, avoiding Daniel's gaze, trying to pretend like that moment in his office never happened. But he didn't make it easy. He watched me. He waited. And every time I looked up, I caught him staring, like he already knew I would give in. At home, I tried to act normal. I cooked dinner, played with Caleb, let Jordan hold me in bed. I let him kiss me, let him undress me. But even as my husband moved inside me, my mind was somewhere else. I hated myself for it. I wasn't a bad woman. I wasn't heartless. But when you've tasted the thrill of temptation, ordinary love starts to feel dull. Daniel makes his first move. A week later, I was working late again. I told myself I had to stay. Too many deadlines, too much paperwork, but deep down, I knew the real reason. I was waiting for him. And he didn't disappoint. Around 9 p.m., when the office was nearly empty, Daniel walked in, his sleeves rolled up, his blue eyes locked on mine. He shut the door behind him and leaned against it, watching me. "You've been avoiding me," he said. I forced a laugh. "I've been busy." "Liar." My breath caught. "Daniel, you want me." His voice was low, confident, dangerous. "Just say it." I shook my head. "I'm married." He took a slow step forward. "I don't care." My pulse pounded. "I can't do this." Another step. "But you want to." God, I did. The first touch. He reached me, standing so close I could feel the heat radiating off his body. His fingers brushed my wrist, just a simple touch, but it sent a wildfire through me. I closed my eyes, trying to breathe, trying to hold on to the last bit of self-control I had. And then he whispered my name. "Naya." I gasped. And that was it. That was the moment I knew. I was already falling. A dangerous game begins. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed beside Jordan, staring at the ceiling, my body still burning from Daniel's touch. He hadn't kissed me. He hadn't done anything more than brush his fingers against my skin. But it didn't matter, because I had already made my choice. The only question now was, how long until I completely gave in? The office was nearly empty when I finally let myself breathe. It was late, past 10 p.m., but I wasn't rushing home. I knew Jordan was probably asleep and Caleb was tucked in safely. I had no excuse to stay, yet here I was, sitting at my desk, staring at the same report for the last 15 minutes. Because I wasn't really working, I was waiting. I told myself I wouldn't. I told myself I'd keep my distance from Daniel. But when you crave something, resisting it only makes you want it more. And I craved him. The way he looked at me, the way he whispered my name, the way his fingers brushed my wrist last night and set my whole body on fire. I wasn't naive. I knew where this was headed, and tonight I was too weak to stop it. I heard the door close softly behind me. I didn't turn around. I didn't have to. I could feel him. Daniel. Still here. His voice was smooth, low. I swallowed hard. Just finishing up. I heard his footsteps. Slow, unhurried, confident. Then he was beside me, close enough that I could smell him. Sandalwood and musk. Temptation itself. I didn't move. Didn't dare look up. Because if I did, I knew I would fall. "You've been avoiding me again," he murmured. I I cleared my throat. I just needed some space. He chuckled, the sound deep, knowing. "Space won't change anything, Nia." I exhaled sharply, my fingers curling into fists. "Daniel, I—" And then he touched me, just his fingertips trailing lightly over my shoulder, down my arm. Slow, deliberate. My breath caught. I should have stopped him, but I didn't. Instead, I turned my head just slightly and met his gaze. Intense, blue fire, a dangerous promise. He leaned in, closer, close enough that his lips were barely an inch from mine. "Tell me to stop," he whispered. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. And then he kissed me, soft at first, testing, tasting, then deeper, hungrier, like he had been waiting just as long as I had. A shudder ran through me as his hands slid into my hair, tilting my head back, owning my mouth. I should have pulled away, should have run. But the moment his tongue slid against mine, I was lost. I didn't remember how we got there. One minute we were in my office. The next, I was against the wall in his. His hands were everywhere, exploring, claiming. And mine, I was just as desperate. I tugged at his shirt, pulling it over his head, letting my fingers roam over his sculpted chest. His lips trailed fire down my neck, his breath hot against my skin. "Tell me you want this," he murmured. I moaned softly. "I want this." I didn't hesitate, didn't think, didn't care. All I wanted was to feel something real. His mouth found mine again, harder this time, filled with hunger. Then he lifted me, effortless, strong. My legs wrapped around his waist as he carried me to his desk. And when he laid me down, his weight pressing against me, I knew there was no turning back. Clothes vanished. Skin met skin. I gasped as he kissed his way down my body, lingering on places that had been untouched for so long. His hands roamed, teasing, tasting, bringing me to the edge before pulling me back again. It was slow, excruciating, perfect. "Daniel," I moaned, arching against him. He smirked. "Patience. Beautiful." Then, without warning, he slid inside me. I gasped, my nails digging into his back as he filled me, stretching me in ways I'd forgotten. And when he moved, I saw stars. Every thrust sent pleasure spiraling through me, deeper, harder, raw. I was lost, drowning, and I never wanted to come up for air. His name left my lips over and over, a prayer, a plea. And when I finally shattered beneath him, I knew I was ruined, because I had never felt this alive. The room was silent except for our ragged breaths. Daniel lay beside me on the desk, his fingers lazily tracing patterns on my bare stomach. I should have felt guilty, should have been drowning in shame, but all I felt was satisfaction, complete, overwhelming, dangerous. He turned his head, watching me. "No regrets?" I hesitated. Then, slowly, I shook my head. "None." And that was the biggest lie I had ever told, because deep down, I knew this was only the beginning. I should have felt guilty. I should have gone home that night, crawled into bed beside Jordan, and cried myself to sleep. But instead, I drove home in a daze, my skin still tingling from Daniel's touch, my body still aching in the best way possible. I wasn't thinking about my husband. I wasn't thinking about Caleb. I was thinking about him, the way he kissed me, the way he owned me, the way he made me feel like a woman again. Not just a wife, not just a mother, but a woman. And the worst part? I wanted more. Jordan was still awake when I walked through the door, sitting on the couch in his gray sweatpants, flipping through channels. Damn, baby, you're home late, he said, stretching his arms. You okay? I forced a smile. Yeah, just a long day. Got caught up with reports. A lie. An easy lie. One I told so smoothly, I barely recognized my own voice. He nodded, oblivious, completely trusting. You hungry? I saved you a plate. I wasn't hungry for food. I was still full from Daniel, but I walked into the kitchen anyway, sat at the table, and forced myself to eat while Jordan sat across from me, talking about his day. I nodded when I was supposed to, smiled when I had to, but in my head, I was still in Daniel's office, still moaning his name, still feeling his hands on my body, still burning for him. And I knew one night wasn't enough. Sneaking around never felt so good. I didn't even try to stop myself. The next day, I checked my phone every 5 minutes, waiting for a message from him. And when it finally came, Daniel, come to my office after your meeting. I need to see you. I felt the heat rush straight between my legs. I should have said no. I should have resisted, but I didn't. Instead, I typed back the two words that sealed my fate. Me. Okay. That afternoon, I walked into his office, heart pounding, skin already burning before he even touched me. And the second I shut the door, he was on me, his hands tangled in my hair, his lips crashing into mine, his body pressing me against the wall. I moaned as his fingers trailed down, slipping under my skirt, finding me already soaked. He smirked against my lips. You missed me. I bit my lip, breathing hard. Shut up and touch me. And he did, right there in his office. Fast, hard, desperate. I came undone in his arms, gasping his name, my fingers gripping his shoulders as he buried himself inside me. It was reckless. It was dangerous. It was the best sex of my life. And I knew I was already too far gone. Lying gets easier every time. By the time I got home that evening, I'd already rehearsed my next lie. Jordan kissed my forehead as I walked in, smiling. How was work? I kissed him back. Stressful, but I got through it. Lieutenant. I'd spent half the day moaning Daniel's name, sneaking kisses in the break room, texting him under my desk. And my husband had no idea. Because the truth was, lying was easy when you had something worth lying for. Craving him, needing him, losing control. Days turned into weeks. We couldn't stop, didn't want to stop. We had sex in his car after work, in the hotel down the street. Once, in the office restroom, muffling my moans with his hand as I came against the wall. I was addicted, not just to the sex, but to him. The way he looked at me, the way he made me feel like I was the only woman in the world. And the scariest part, I didn't even feel guilty anymore. I thought I was in control. I thought I could keep my world separate, be the perfect wife at home and the insatiable woman in Daniel's arms. But I was wrong. Because no matter how hard I tried, Jordan was starting to notice. And the more I lied, the easier it became. It started with the little things. The way I lingered in the bathroom a little too long, staring at my reflection, reliving the things Daniel did to me that day. The way I jumped every time my phone buzzed, afraid it was him at the wrong moment. The way I stopped reaching for Jordan at night, too exhausted from the things I did during the day. And then one night, as I climbed into bed, Jordan turned to me with a look I couldn't ignore. You good, baby? His voice was soft, but there was something behind it, something searching. I forced a smile. Of course, just tired. He nodded slowly. You've been real tired lately. My heart pounded. Work's been crazy. A lie. A damn easy lie. But Jordan just studied me, those deep brown eyes scanning my face like he was trying to see through me. I kissed him quickly, forcing a chuckle. I just need a vacation, that's all. He smiled, pulling me closer. Maybe we should take one. Just us. Panic shot through me. A vacation meant no Daniel, no stolen touches, no secret meetings. I couldn't do that. But I forced a bright smile anyway. That sounds amazing. Let's plan it soon. Jordan kissed my forehead. I love you, Naya. I swallowed hard. I love you too. Another lie. Daniel wanted more. It wasn't just quick, stolen moments anymore. He wanted me every second he could get. Come home with me tonight, he whispered against my lips, his hands gripping my hips as we sat in his office after hours. I shivered at the thought, the idea both thrilling and terrifying. I can't. Jordan, he doesn't have to know. Daniel's fingers trailed up my thigh, slipping beneath my dress. You want to, don't you? I gasped as he found my most sensitive spot, teasing me through my panties. Yes, I breathed. But, no buts, he murmured, kissing my neck. Just you and me. A whole night. A night in Daniel's bed. No rushing, no sneaking around. Just pure, endless pleasure. The thought alone made my legs weak. But it was too dangerous. I pushed his hand away, my breathing ragged. Not yet. Daniel exhaled, his jaw tightening. You know you're mine now, right? I looked up at him, my heart pounding. Yes, I knew. But what scared me the most? I wanted to be his. And a secret that almost slipped. The next morning, I was still reeling from the temptation of Daniel's offer. I was distracted, reckless, and that's when I almost slipped. Jordan was making breakfast while Caleb sat at the table, coloring. I was pouring coffee, lost in thought, still aching from what Daniel did to me the day before, when Jordan suddenly said, You were moaning in your sleep last night. My body froze. I turned to him slowly, my heart slamming against my ribs. What? He smirked. Had to be a good dream, huh? You kept saying a name. I went cold. Oh, God. What name? I asked, forcing a laugh. He shrugged. Didn't catch it, but I know it wasn't mine. I nearly dropped my coffee. Jordan chuckled, not knowing how close he was to the truth. Guess you were dreaming about one of them romance novels you like. I exhaled slowly, forcing a smile. Guess so. But inside, I was shaking. Because what if one night I said Daniel's name? What if Jordan found out? What if this whole thing blew up in my face? But even as the fear crept in, one thought overpowered it all. I didn't want to stop. The invitation that changed everything. Later that day, Daniel sent me a message that made my breath catch. Daniel, pack a bag. I'm taking you away this weekend. My fingers trembled as I typed back. Me, I can't just leave. Daniel, figure it out. I want you. I squeezed my thighs together, my body already reacting to his words. A weekend, just us. It was dangerous. It was reckless. It was everything I wanted. I stared at my phone, my mind racing. Could I pull it off? Could I really look my husband in the eye and lie again? Yes, and I was going to. I told Jordan I was going on a work retreat. I lied so easily now. The way he smiled, kissed my forehead, and told me to have fun made my stomach twist. But the moment I stepped into Daniel's car, all my guilt melted away. Because the moment his eyes met mine, I knew exactly what the weekend would be. A reckless, forbidden escape into pure pleasure. The drive to the cabin was long, but every second was electric. Daniel's hand stayed on my thigh, fingers teasing, inching higher. Think you'll survive a whole weekend with me? He murmured, his voice deep, teasing. I smirked. You think you can keep up? His grip tightened, his other hand shifting gears. Oh, baby, you have no idea. Heat pulsed between my legs. I was already soaking through my panties, already imagining what he'd do to me the second we got inside. And when we finally pulled up to the secluded cabin in the woods, I barely made it through the front door before he grabbed me. We didn't speak. Didn't need to. His lips crashed against mine, his hands yanking up my dress. I gasped as he lifted me, carrying me to the nearest surface, the kitchen counter. Hands behind your back, he ordered. I obeyed, the rush of powerlessness making my heart race. He tugged my panties off and spread my legs, his eyes dark, predatory. Look at you, he murmured, already soaking for me. I shivered as he ran a single finger over my slit, teasing, tormenting. Please, I whispered. His smirk was pure sin. Please what? Fuck me. His growl vibrated through me. Without another word, he freed himself, the thick length of him pressing against my entrance. And then he slammed inside me. I cried out, the stretch perfect, overwhelming. He didn't wait, didn't go slow. This was raw, hard, desperate. The sound of our bodies colliding filled the cabin, my moans mixing with his deep groans. Fuck Nia, he gritted out, thrusting harder, deeper. I wrapped my legs around his waist, clinging to him, letting him take me however he wanted. And when my climax hit, when the pleasure shattered through me, I screamed his name. Over and over, louder than I ever had before. After we lay tangled on the kitchen floor, both breathless, I traced a finger down his chest, still drunk on pleasure. That was... I couldn't even find the words. Daniel smirked. And we still have the whole weekend. My pulse quickened. I knew this was dangerous. I knew I was in too deep, but I didn't care. I wanted more, and I was going to take everything he had to give. The weekend with Daniel was everything I dreamed of and more. We didn't leave the cabin. We barely ate. We barely slept. Every second was filled with skin against skin, hands gripping, mouths claiming, bodies colliding. I lost track of time, lost track of reality. But the moment I stepped back into my home, the life I was supposed to be living, I knew something had changed because Jordan was looking at me differently. Hey, baby. I forced a bright smile, dropping my bag by the door. Jordan was on the couch, Caleb curled up beside him, asleep. But he didn't smile back. How was the retreat? His voice was calm, too calm. I swallowed hard. It was great, really relaxing. Lieutenant. Jordan just nodded, his eyes scanning me, studying me. Then, slowly, he stood up and walked toward me. Every step sent my heartbeat spiraling. When he finally stopped in front of me, he reached out and ran a finger down my neck. A slow, deliberate touch. A touch that sent ice down my spine. My breath hitched. What are you doing? Jordan tilted his head, his eyes locked on mine. You smell different. Shit. I forced a chuckle, stepping back. That's probably just the hotel soap. His gaze darkened. Yeah, I said quickly. Too quickly. He didn't say anything for a long time, just watched me squirm. Then, finally, I missed you, Nia. My stomach twisted. I missed you too. Another lie. But Jordan just pulled me into his arms, holding me too tight, too long, like a man holding on to something he already knew was slipping away. I should have stopped. I should have taken that weekend as a warning. But I didn't, because the moment Daniel texted me the next day, Daniel, I need you again. My place. Tonight. I was already making excuses, already planning my next lie, already choosing him over my family. And Jordan just kissed me goodbye as I left the house, whispering, "Be safe, baby." As if he didn't already know. As if he was just waiting for the day I finally confessed. A day that would never come, because I would never stop. Not now. Not ever. If this story had you hooked, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. What would you do if you were in Jordan's shoes? Do you think he truly knows? Drop a comment below. Did you love the suspense, the fire, the raw passion? Let me know in the comments. More stories coming soon, so don't forget to subscribe.